So to make the square, you join together the diagonal lines. And just because I have this fabulous ruler, I get to see, is it straight? Is it touching these corners nicely? Oftentimes I'll just turn the paper to make the square. So I'm going to make the outer yantra as per normal here. If you've made a few yantras already, you can kind of whiz through this section. If you're new to yantra, then follow carefully. If you want to follow really carefully, you might like to buy that first book of mine, 9 Designs for Inner Peace. That has the planetary yantras in it, and step-by-step method for making the gates of the yantra. So I also made a handout, a PDF, that's available on my website. I'll have the link in the video descriptions so that you can also follow on. It'll have the measurements for the Sri Yantra. So hopefully between the video and the handout, you guys will be able to follow. All right, so now we're going to keep dividing. So this is definitely an instructional video. You know, if I was at home doing it more in my prayer, it would be silent. I'd be sitting slightly in a different position. Right now I'm a little bit off center just so that I can film it. So I will ask your forgiveness for any little errors I'm making, not being totally above it. Okay, so we've just divided that by 2. And then I make a short line from the square to the edge of the circle. Take your compass and make the compass smaller. Put the metal point at the center on the horizontal line and open the lead so it sits on that new mark. This is your measurement. Now you're going to repeat the measurement around the edges of the yantra. So I was taught this specific method by Sri Amritananda, this method of the 48 measurements. Sri Amritananda of Devipuram. Tried and tested. Sometimes I feel like the measurements would be better, maybe on a computer, very exact. So this is a pencil drawn version. But I've had some requests and I figured I would share what he taught me. It's always good to make the Sri Yantra. Making the Sri Yantra is like a serious aligning, self-aligning. You with yourself, with the universe. Sometimes the yantra lines up better than others, and I think it's just kind of working on your subtle body. So don't judge it too much when you're making it. Just enjoy the practice. And I would definitely strongly suggest you do that freehand Sri Yantra many times, especially that one that says live on it, because it really gives you a sense of some of the intersections, which are hard to get just purely from the calculations I'm going to give you today. So once you have that, now we're going to connect the outer points. So this straight line will just touch the circle. And then we're going to bisect again. So bisecting is when we do this crisscrossing to find out the halfway point. So we want to find out the halfway point between that and that. So we put our compass there. And then we spin the compass up, spin the compass down. And then I switch the positions. Now I'm going to put the compass metal there, the lead there, and then crisscross again. Just do that once. Then I'll draw a line through that, really paying attention to the center of the yantra, right? I've always got a little mind on the center, which is a nice metaphor for always being centered. And then I'll draw just a short line. Then you can take your compass again and close the compass. The center will be there. And the lead, the metal is there, the lead is on your new line as it touches the line. And then I'm going to go around kind of repeating what I did before, going to either side. And then there's a second movement with the same measurement. The second movement is you go to the outer edge and then you go in. So have your metal on the outer edge of the circle and go in. And actually you can just make one on each side because your ruler can be horizontal. Okay. Then you're going to take your ruler and connect. So hopefully when we finish this part, we will really start to see the yantra itself shaping up. So first of all, I'll do this line. Once I have the shape, I'm going to erase all the extra markings. Right, we have all these crisscrosses that we don't need anymore. And then I'm going to redraw the outline. So I'm going to do that nice and super speeded up, so you don't have to watch me erasing. But you can just pause the video. Do that yourself. You're going to do a period of erasing. So all that you're left with are the guidelines. I'll show you. And the outline. Guidelines and the outline. And then I'd like you just to draw it so it looks crisp and firm. So you have a definite sense of where the outline is. And voila, that is your yantra. And I'll meet you back to do the inner gates. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, so just make sure you kept the guidelines, okay? So we kept these guidelines. Just make sure you didn't erase too much. Vertical, horizontal, keep that nice circle we have. You did erase the outer circle. The next thing we're going to do is to make the gates. And what I'm going to do is just do a corner. And then I'm going to do the whole thing faster. So what you do is every corner, you make 2 extra marks. So I have just kind of guesstimated this marking. It's basically a spot that looks good. 1, 2, 3. One line goes on the edge of your yantra. The second line goes in a bit. The third line in a bit more. Okay, so you have 2 extra marks. And this is a good place to figure out the width, because you want to have room in the middle, because you're going to be painting or coloring maybe the center of your yantra. So you need enough room. We're making basically an inner border, inner line around the edge. So we're going to have a gold line and a yellow line. Sometimes we have 3 actual lines. Today we'll end up having 3 because we have the outline and then 2 extra lines. So in the drawing it looks like 3 lines. But when you color it, it'll actually look like 2. So you go around all the places that have an edge. I'm going to just do this one. So I'm showing you just slowly, and then I'll go ahead and do it quickly in a second. So first you make the marks. Very lightly. I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm doing one corner. I'm going to draw one corner slowly. If I was doing this on my own, I would do the whole of the outside with marks and then the whole of the outside with lines. But I just want to show you this for teaching purposes. Okay, that should be enough lines.